Hi guys, I wanted to make a quick video on something that I believe is a big topic, and it's basically about how to stop giving a shit what other people think. So this actually resonates a lot with me because I can confidently say throughout my 20s and in my teens as well, this is something that I used to find on occasion quite crippling. And it's taken me to my 30s and a lot of self-development to get me to a stage that it doesn't really impact me anymore, although it does occasionally rear its ugly little head occasionally. So when people are worried about what other people think, what they're fundamentally chasing is the other person's approval. They're fearful of being ostracized, fearful of being ridiculed, fearful of looking odd, fearful of being judged. So how does this actually show up? So you might hear yourself saying things like, are people talking about me behind my back? What will my colleagues think if I voice this opinion? What will people think if I take this job? What will people think if I don't take this job? How will I look in this pair of jeans? So all these types of things are behaviours and things that we're challenging or second guessing in ourselves, all because of what other people might think. So if this is you, then you'll probably find that it is a very, very exhausting existence. So here are 3 ways of hopefully best ways to get over it. So tip number 1, stop people pleasing. Stand up for what you believe in. When you overly accommodate what other people think and what other people feel, you basically morph yourself into a version of yourself where you're changing your behaviours, your appearances, and what you stand by, all because of the way that you believe people perceive you rather than who you actually are. So when you're in that situation and you're trying to make a decision maybe and you find yourself people pleasing, the question to ask yourself is, what is it that you want, not what is it that the other person wants from you? Okay, so tip number 2, value-based living. Understand what your value-based living looks like. So I work on this a lot with my clients. I think this is actually a game changer, this particular one, and it will impact massively in your professional and private life. So first of all, understand and establish what your values are. These are the rules in which you live by in order to be the person who you want to be. Once you've got a really good ingrained idea of who you are and what's important to you and what really matters to you, it is amazing how insignificant other people's opinions of you just like fade away. So when you find yourself like in a case where you're trying to make a decision of how best to handle it, ask yourself this question: not what is it I need to do right now, but who do I need to be right now? Okay, and finally, tip number 3. Create a list that what I would call maybe an uncomfortable list. So establish all the things that maybe you've done that you've not done, probably more accurately, on the basis of how other people might view you. So in a professional sense, maybe that's voicing a controversial opinion. Maybe it's fronting somebody in the office that is maybe got ill behaviour or maybe a bit of a bully attitude. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's being vulnerable and being willing to share with somebody that you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or a bit burnt out, or maybe you're having a bit of self-doubt. Maybe from a private perspective or a personal perspective, maybe this would look like going to a cinema and watching a film on your own. Or maybe it's going to a restaurant and eating on your own. All the things that we don't do in order to avoid being judged by other people. Write that list, identify what that list looks like, and start drawing them out one by one and lining them off one by one as you complete them. Now, doing one of these tasks is not going to change the world, but doing them repeatedly will start giving you like the experience of doing things that in your head you still see is that you might get judged. So this is really important. Now, you can read all the self-help books in the world as you want to, but unless you actually take action, nothing is going to change. So I'd love to know how you get on with any of these, if any of these have resonated with you, maybe your own experiences, what type of things have come up for you, what type of things you find the most difficult to manage when you feel that you are under the judgment of other people, maybe what your coping mechanisms are, and basically